In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
We're back!
I guess the next up is the Black Widow.
Oh yeah, okay. I can be a little bit more myself with that one. Yeah, I didn't care for that at all.
You didn't care for the Black Widow at all?
No. I mean, one, okay, I'll be fair to it. I'm coming in the middle of things. This is not, I haven't read anything but this issue. So I'm reading this. This is sort of standard spy stuff. It could be anybody. It's not necessarily the Black Widow. So I can't really give a lot of points for that. There's nothing distinctive about the book that says Black Widow. It's just a spy story. It could be anyone there. You know, it could be anyone named the Black Widow for all that matters. So I didn't necessarily care for that. And then I'm coming over, I'm like, oh goodness, haven't I read this already? You know, she's a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's not a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, good grief. You know, and I'm looking at who's doing the writing on this? Mark Waid and Chris Samney. I'm like, don't you guys have any other ideas for this character? Especially if you want to tell a spy story. I mean, she's already been a part, she was already, you know, a Cold War agent. Then she defected, so she's on our side. Then she's a double agent. She's an Avenger. You know, she works for S.H.I.E.L.D. She does this, she does that, she goes on and so forth. Most of that stuff has been covered. So for me to really jump into this, especially by the 5th issue, that means at this point, if I was reading the 5th issue, I would feel robbed, because I read the 5th issue and I was like, what's going on here? Why would I have read this far up to the 5th issue? Just didn't see anything going on.
I don't have a problem with it. It's I mean, I can see your point saying it could have been a little more splashier to it, but I mean, I enjoyed. It's different from their Daredevil, even though it's more spy, even though it's not that super to her character, but I enjoy the approach. You know, the story. It's it's a simple story, and I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I would stay on. I might, as you were saying, I might run out of steam on it. But the art is really, the way they put together the pieces. He's a really strong storyteller. The action sequences work out perfectly. You get the energy that's going on. And that's what drew me into the story. Just saying, here's a lot of stuff happening when it gets to the action setup and then to the end. But then I'm kind of worried about this Iron Man thing that's coming up in the end. That part, like, she's been at odds with Iron Man who knows how many times. I guess that goes back through her history back, so I'm not sure how this is going to go, since Iron Man's using the whipping boy in these series, where somehow she might be able to take him apart and set up his thing. I'm not sure where Wade's going to go. I was worried when Wade was on the Hulk and he had to meet Thor. I was like, oh no, he's gonna he's gonna mess this up. But I'll hold my opinion about what he might do till next issue if we read it. So
you mean if I read it? And the answer to that is no.
Man,
and again, I look for it. I don't know. I'm pretty surprised. One of the things I liked about the Justice League, which you gave a 2. Was that the characterization was there. All the characters are readily identified. They're in character. I look at this and I say, okay, if you take the title off of this book, who is this about? Don't call her Natasha, okay? Keep her head wrapped up. Who is this about? You don't know. You have no idea what this is about. And then when you see Iron Man come into it, I'm like, man, this is so formulaic. They do this all the time, especially with these superhero spy stories. Because at some point, they have to bring in the superpowered guy, because that's like the Law and Order. It's like the Dark Knight Returns. Okay, we got to bring in the superpowered guy to take on this guy over here. And of course, she's going to dismantle him, because that'll give her, her superhero cred. And Iron Man's an easy one, to beat up.
He didn't do that. He sort of hinted at it when he was doing the Hulk, and we brought Thor in and had the phony Hulk lifting up Thor's hammer. So I don't think he plays around with it. Let's see what he'll do, because he usually goes that route, but he didn't do it in the Hulk comic when Thor met up with him. So I'm gonna give him. I don't usually trust Wade on these sort of things, but since he didn't mess up on the Hulk and Thor meeting, but he also had Walt Simonson there to watch over it. I want to see what's going to happen, how he's going to handle it, and if I'm going to be mad or not.
I'm not spending any. I'm not spending any more of my money so I can be angry. You got me this time.
You're this angry over this?
It's a waste of time. And this is the 5th issue. Here's the deal. If I read the 5th issue, what the 5th issue should make me want to do is go back and read issues 1 through 4. I should plug in and be like, okay, wow, yeah, I'm sorry I missed the first 4 issues. Let me go back and read those first 4 so I can get everything that was coming up to this point. That's like an old school comic. Okay, where you would step in and you would be like, oh, wow, all this happened? What happened in the last issue? And they would get you, if they were really good, they'd get you reading back almost 2 years worth of books just so you could get caught up in what was there because you wanted to plug into what was going on. Here, again, who is this about? This is about who? The Black Widow? Okay, what is the Black Widow to Mark Waid? What's descriptive? What's distinct about her character? Nothing. It's not a bad story. It's a standard spy story. I can't say the story is bad, but in terms of the characterization, this could be anyone. Okay, it could be anyone. It's the 5th issue.
That being said, as far as the Black Widow, what would you say is like signature to her character in the stories that's been done? Like, which story are you gonna go to say besides possibly?
He's doing a spy story with her, which at this point, I just think is played out. I don't see any more spy stories with the Black Widow. I don't see any more spy stories with the Black Widow.
That's a bias, though. That's saying, I'm tired of it, I don't want to see it.
No, that's not me saying I'm tired of it, I don't want to see it, okay? I don't see any more spy stories with the Black Widow. Now, if you've got a spy story, and when I read it, I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I didn't think you could do that. I didn't think you could pull that off. I'm all on board for it. But she's done so much in the spy arena that I just don't see it. So unless you were going to do something like where she had to do some really top-notch infiltration or, like become super villain and mimic superpowers or something of that nature, just something really out of the box with her, I really don't want to see the spy stuff unless you've really got a top story coming over. Because other than that, look, I see enough James Bond, Jason Bourne, and all the other stuff. If I want to rewatch Salt, cool.
But that's a bias,
what is
man.
This? What is
that's
this here?
Definitely a bias. I would look at it.
No, you're fighting for your book and you're foisting the bias on me.
It's not my book. I'm not a big way. I like.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you like the book? You said you enjoyed it, right?
I liked it, but I'm not defending it. That's not
yeah,
why I'm fighting
it. You're telling me I'm biased. That's not defending the book.
No, I'm saying you're biased. Is saying you don't want to. You're saying as far as Spy and her, whereas that's
you asked me.
She's going.
You asked me what's definitive. You asked me what is definitive about the Black Widow. I told you I don't want to see the spy stuff. She's done other stuff. She's been a very versatile character. I said I don't want to see the spy stuff, and you said I'm being biased. I'm like, no, I'm trying to answer the question.
You said you don't want to see the spy story because of James Bond and Jason Bourne. That's the only.
I don't want to see the spy stuff. I don't want to see the spy stuff with the Black Widow. I don't want to see the spy stuff with the Black Widow unless you have a top spy story because so much of it has been done. I don't feel that I need to sit there and go through 6 or 7 issues of your spy story if it's going to be a boilerplate standard spy story. She's done a lot of spy stuff. You're going to have to bring a pretty good story. It's no different than any other long-term spies. You got to really come to the table with something that's top level if you want to get me interested in it. Will I sit through it? I can sit through it, but why? There's other stuff out there I can read. And then we've got we've got the Black Widow. This is supposed to be she's a top level spy. She's a top level fighter, okay? She's been a superhero. So she has all of those things working for her. I wouldn't mind a story that dabbled in all of those areas to really keep my interest up in it. But, just the spy stuff, especially when I read this story, I was like, this is standard stuff. The guy meets her. Oh, I knew you were a double agent all the time. Oh, I knew this, and I knew that, and I knew this. Then why is everything going wrong since you knew everything? That's standard. It's standard boilerplate spy story. This person is the super spy, knows everything, but at the same time, everything's going wrong. They're 10 steps ahead of everyone, but at the same time, they can't win the race.
I don't know. I think...
you just like the story.
I didn't have a problem with it. I knew that was the approach he was going with it, and it definitely wasn't bad to me. I think it's enjoyable. I think you can look at it, and I think as far as how, what's the name, was it Sandy's handling it, it looks good. So I'm fine with it for right now. I'm not sure I might stay with it, but I will, at some point I will check it out and say, let's see what's going on in this thing. I'd like to see what, hence why I wanted to review it and see what was going on.
Well, what can I say, Mark Waid? You had your shot. You blew it. I'm not coming back.
You're not coming back? Oh, well. You know, that's
I'm done.
that's how it can go.
Well, so if I have, on a scale of 1 to 5, if I've got to rate this, I'm going to give this a nice big 1.
Okay. And I guess I'm going to go 3 with this one.
A 3?
Yeah.
A 3?
What do you want me to give it?
I don't believe this. Justice League got a 2 and this gets a 3?
It's more story to me than that other thing.
Okay. The numbers, I don't know. I guess the numbers are a little dyslexic this time out. Okay.
This is the point. We have our points. That's what it is. We can't go and just start griping at each other about what the score is.
This is America. I can do whatever I like. And right now, I feel like griping with you over your ridiculous score for this book.
It's okay. It's weak story wise. As far as not messing up.
This story is just as weak. It's just a blatant boilerplate story. There is nothing distinctive. There's no characterization for this character. This could be any character, and somehow this gets a 3? This was a better story?
There's nothing in the Justice League story wise.
The characters were there.
What the part with what's the name? Some called.
All of them, from start to finish, including the new ones. When you finished this story, you knew who all the characters were. You're telling me this is Natasha Romanoff after you read the story?
I could say any of these characters could be someone different too.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Besides, because they have a Wonder Woman outfit on.
No.
I don't even know who these Green Lanterns are.
They're all in character by their actions, by the use of their powers. They're all in character. Natasha Romanoff is just, look, it's name only. There's nothing going on. There's nothing distinctive about it.
I don't see that much characterization here outside of, especially definitely the two new. If we go into the other book, we just fighting now. It don't make any sense. You try to take some swipes, and then I have to go back and torch Justice League.
Hey, that's fine, because I got some more swipes to take. I'm going to get you some glasses and a little Windex, and then you'll be able to see exactly what was going on in this particular story, and we can rate it appropriately.
No way. Windex anything would help this book. It needs a lot more story, but you can clean up as much as you want. Give me some more story.
Yeah, I don't know, Pete. I don't know. Have you been getting free review copies? Is that what happened with this? You got a free review? Marvel got you on the take?
I think that's how it happened with you in the Justice League, because you should totally be torching this book. You should be tearing this thing apart.
No, that was good. That was good.
No, I don't know. I think you're on the take too. So if I'm on the take on the Black Widow, you're definitely on the take with the Justice League.